Most people have heard of sheep. Most people have heard of wolves. But not everyone has heard of the sheepdog, and yet the sheepdog may be the most important of them all. The sheepdog watches what others ignore. It sees danger early. It protects what cannot protect itself, and it stands in the gap when the wolves come near. Stay with me till the end, because I'm going to show you what a sheepdog is, what makes it so powerful, and why every business needs one. In Scripture, sheep are never described as fierce. They are described as needing guidance, protection, and care. That is not an insult. That is reality. Sheep are valuable but vulnerable. They can wander. They can be misled. They can be scattered. And wherever there are sheep, wolves are never far away. The Bible warns about wolves again and again. Wolves do not come to serve the flock. They come to feed on it. They come for what is unguarded, untrained, and unprotected. They come disguised. They come patiently, and they come looking for weakness. That is true in the field, and it is true in life, leadership, and business. Because every business, every family, every church, and every organization lives in that same tension. Something precious must be protected, because something predatory is always trying to get in. That is where the sheepdog enters the picture. The sheepdog is not the shepherd, but it serves the shepherd. It does not own the flock, but it protects what has been entrusted to its care. It does not seek applause. It does not need attention. Its role is simple: stay alert, guard the vulnerable, recognize danger, and move when protection is required. That is what makes a sheepdog different. A sheepdog sees what others miss. It watches the edges. It notices movement in the dark. It responds before panic spreads. It stands between the flock and the threat. Not because it hates the sheep, not because it loves conflict, but because it understands responsibility. And from a biblical standpoint, that matters deeply. Jesus said in John 10 that the good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. But he also warned that the hired hand runs when he sees the wolf coming. Why? Because the hired hand has no real commitment to the flock. When pressure comes, character is revealed. When danger appears, you discover who is protecting the sheep and who is protecting themselves. That is the difference. A sheepdog mindset is not about ego. It is about stewardship. It is about vigilance. It is about courage under authority. It is about being faithful with what God has placed in your reach. And in business, that is desperately needed. Because businesses have sheep too. Your employees are sheep in the sense that they need leadership, clarity, and protection. Your customers are sheep in the sense that they trust you not to exploit them. Your culture is sheep in the sense that it can be shaped, scattered, or corrupted. Your mission is sheep in the sense that it must be guarded if it is going to survive. And businesses have wolves. Some wolves are obvious: fraud, deception, corruption, predatory competitors, cyber threats, lawsuits, toxic leaders. But some wolves are more subtle. Greed is a wolf. Compromise is a wolf. Cowardice is a wolf. Confusion is a wolf. Silence in the face of wrongdoing is a wolf. An undisciplined culture is a wolf. A leader who refuses to confront what is harmful is opening the gate for wolves. That is why every business needs a sheepdog. It needs people who do more than perform. It needs people who protect. People who are alert when others are distracted. People who are principled when others are compromised. People who are calm when others panic. People who confront danger early instead of explaining it away. People who understand that guarding what is good is just as important as building what is new. That may be a founder, a manager, an operations leader, a compliance officer, a cybersecurity professional, a pastor in ministry, a father in a home. Anyone entrusted with protecting people, truth, and order. Because biblically, protection is not aggression for its own sake. It is love with backbone. It is conviction with discipline. It is mercy with discernment. It is the willingness to stand in the gap when something valuable is at risk. And that is what makes the sheepdog stand out. Loyalty, discernment, courage, discipline, watchfulness, obedience. A sheepdog does not attack everything. It does not create chaos. It does not act from pride. It acts from purpose. It knows the difference between being harsh and being strong, between noise and authority, between reaction and readiness. And in a world full of passive leadership, that kind of presence is rare. So why does your business need a sheepdog? Because success attracts wolves. Because growth without protection is fragile. Because people flourish where they are safe. Because what God entrusts to you must be guarded, not merely expanded. And because if no one is watching the edges, the damage will begin long before the crisis is visible. The truth is, many organizations celebrate builders but ignore protectors. They reward charisma but neglect vigilance. They praise vision but forget stewardship. But biblically, both matter. You do not just need someone to grow the flock. You need someone who will guard it. You do not just need strategy. You need discernment. You do not just need momentum. You need protection. In the end, the lesson is simple. Sheep are valuable, wolves are real, and those who love what is good must be willing to defend it. That is true in Scripture. That is true in leadership. And that is true in business. So ask yourself, who is guarding the flock? Who is watching the gate? Who is willing to stand firm when pressure comes? Because if you are responsible for something valuable, then protection is not optional. It is part of the calling. And every business that wants to honor what is good, protect what matters, and endure what is coming, needs a sheepdog.